This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Here we go through the shadow of your soul. When you're all alone, tell me, do you break? Talk to me, don't let the time go. Talk to me, where did our minds go?
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, and another yes, please, because it does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, April the 9th of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there. Radio Big. Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. So anyways, how have you been? How has the last 24 or so been for you? Hopefully good and grandioso. I only say that from the standpoint because, listen, I'm always hoping for happy times for others as we have discussions about the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. I'm not going to lie here in regards about information. So with that being said, let's talk real quick about how our show works. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of what we do. We talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world, though, because it makes it a lot easier to do that, because I can kind of go to conspiracy 1, 2, or 3. I mean, news story, not conspiracy. Sorry. So there you go. I'm joking as I say that, of course. So with a lot of the stuff that's going on, you know, you have to question the things that are going on inside of the world because, hey, it's kind of some strange times, but we're kind of used to it at this point. I mean, I don't think any time that you think that anything's going to be normal, it is. So that's why we talk about everything that goes on, opposed to just being, hey, you're only supposed to talk about one narrow subject, and that is it. So no, that is not what we do. We kind of go everywhere to take a look around. So there you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's start getting into the multiverse of things. If you want to interact with the show, it's kind of simple to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging is the way that it works, and we kind of move forward from there. So audio, video, text messaging, and we move forward into the world of things that we have going on. Yep, that's it. It's that simple in regards of doing so. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it, and we can get everything moving and grooving inside of the world of the multiverse. I have my friends of Feature Story News that are hanging out over here, and what they do is they are what I call the professional broadcasters, and they will go into the line of fire for us and start talking right away about what the hell's going on inside of the world. So if you're good with this, I will get you pointed towards our friends at Feature Story News, and we will get moving with everything that we need to do inside of this show.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. Iran says Israeli strikes on Lebanon on Wednesday were a grave violation of the ceasefire agreed with the US. American President Donald Trump says Tehran must comply with the ceasefire or face a bigger, better and stronger response than ever before. Talks between Iran and the US are due to take place in Islamabad, Pakistan on Saturday. UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper says Israel is endangering the ceasefire.
I think this escalation by Israel yesterday is completely the wrong thing to do. We're seeing serious humanitarian consequences. We've already got the mass displacement of huge numbers of people in Lebanon, and then, of course, the number of deaths and injuries yesterday. I think this is the wrong thing to do for humanitarian consequences. It's also the wrong thing to do for stability across the region and security for Israel as well. We want to see an end to hostilities in Lebanon urgently. It's extremely important that happens.
But White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Iran is wrong about Lebanon.
Lebanon is not part of the ceasefire. That has been relayed to all parties involved in the ceasefire. As you know, Prime Minister Netanyahu put out a statement last night in support of the ceasefire, in support of the United States' efforts, and he's also assured the president they'll continue to be a helpful partner throughout the course of the next 2 weeks.
European leaders are alarmed over the situation in Lebanon and the impact on the fragile US-Iran truce. On Thursday, France issued a strong statement condemning the massive strikes carried out by Israel against Lebanon. The Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's contempt for life and international law was intolerable. Ross Cullen reports.
The French Foreign Ministry said the strikes by the IDF were, quote, all the more unacceptable as they jeopardise the temporary ceasefire between the United States and Iran. The IDF said it was targeting Hezbollah sites in Lebanon, but Israeli forces reportedly detained a Spanish UN peacekeeper and fired warning shots at an Italian convoy. Madrid and Rome demanded answers from the Israeli government, with the Italian foreign minister warning of a second Gaza. EU officials also warned that high prices and potential shortages of jet fuel could last into the summer, and EU diplomats will hold a meeting on Thursday dedicated to the aviation sector.
Asian stocks were under pressure on Thursday as cracks appeared in the fragile ceasefire, pushing oil prices higher. The biggest concern for global shipping remains when it will be safe to cross the vital waterway, the Strait of Hormuz. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
Japan's Nikkei 225 and South Korea's Kospi dipped slightly in early morning trading after markets in Asia jumped significantly the day before. Investor sentiment weakened after Israel launched its heaviest strikes yet on Lebanon on Wednesday, killing hundreds of people and prompting threats of retaliation from Iran. Brent crude, meanwhile, rose to around $97 a barrel. The crucial choke point, the Strait of Hormuz, has been blocked for weeks, and reports suggest little traffic is passing through the strait. Tehran says it will reopen the crucial choke point during this truce, but under Iranian military coordination, and is even proposing a toll system to charge vessels for safe passage. Experts say the whipsaw trading shows how tentative sentiment remains, as the fragile ceasefire is already being tested. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
Republican candidate Clay Fuller has won former Trump ally Marjorie Taylor Greene's House seat, but Democrats narrowed the gap in the deep red Georgia district. Democrats also performed well in Wisconsin, where Chris Taylor, a liberal appeals court judge, captured a state Supreme Court seat. U.S. correspondent Kate Fisher reports.
Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned in January in frustration over the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein files and the president's increasingly interventionist foreign policy. Clay Fuller, who was backed by Mr. Trump, was always the favourite to fill her seat. But the Democratic candidate Sean Harris put on a strong showing, with the district on track to shift 25 points to the left, the biggest swing towards Democrats in a special election since the start of 2025. Democrats also had success in Wisconsin, where the election of a liberal judge to the state Supreme Court has further tilted the court's ideological balance. Kate Fisher, Washington.
To recap the top stories, Iran says Israeli strikes on Lebanon on Wednesday were a grave violation of the ceasefire agreed with the US, yet American President Donald Trump says Tehran must comply with the ceasefire or face a bigger, better and stronger response than ever before. Asian stocks were under pressure on Thursday as cracks appeared in the fragile ceasefire, pushing oil prices higher. and 4 suspected asylum seekers have died trying to cross the English Channel from France. That's the latest feature story news. Stuart Smith reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home title locks put a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role of the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Listen at your own risk. risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, risky business is it ain't my business, or is that monkey business? Maybe that's more of a Skid Row thing than anything else. Anyways, 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on Love's a Lovely Thursday. Okay, so let's get into some seriousness because, you know, it's always a time to do so in regards of talking about some of the things. So I saw this and I was like, maybe we need to have a discussion about this. So take a listen to this. Artemis Commander Reese Wiseman is going viral after revealing that a 2017 fortune cookie predicted his historic trip around the moon. The fortune read, "A visit to a strange place will bring you renewed perspective." And Wiseman joked at the time that he might mean a trip to the moon or even Mars. Fast forward to recently, Reed and his crew with Victor Clever, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen just traveled 252,756 miles from Earth, breaking the distance record set by the Apollo 13 back in the 1970s. They also witnessed part of the moon's far side of no human has ever seen. Fans online are stunned at how perfectly the fortune cookie called it, with NASA even reposting the prediction and checking off strange place and new perspective. Some people get "you'll find love," Ree got "pack your spacesuit." So I don't know. What do you think here? I mean, forget psychic hotline. Just give me the name of the restaurant, because this definitely sounds like the way to do this. So there you go. There you go. Okay, take a listen to this one because
I got some strange ones for you today.
A 58-year-old woman in Greece was working near a field of sheep when a bunch of flies started buzzing around in her face. She didn't think much of it at the time, but about a week later, though, her sinuses started hurting and she developed a nasty cough, and it dragged on for weeks. And then things went from annoying to horror movie. On October the 15th, she sneezed and a worm shot out of her nose. Doctors quickly got involved and performed a procedure to check her sinuses, and they found what straight out of a nature documentary gone wrong. 10 larvae and pupa living inside of her large sinuses besides her nose. The larva was nearly an inch long. DNA testing showed, yes, it showed that the creatures were sheep botflies, scientifically called Ocestrus ovis. Normally, these parasites grow inside of the nasal passages of sheep and goats, not humans. In animals, the larvae develop in the nose and eventually get sneezed out and can continue their life cycle in the soil. Humans occasionally get infected too, but usually around the eyes and the conditions when it normally happens. And historically, the larvae don't grow very far in people. This case was different. Doctors believe that the woman's severely deviated septum changed the environment inside of her sinuses just enough for the larva to grow and even reach the pupa stage, something scientists previously thought couldn't happen in humans. After doctors removed the larva and treated her nasal medication, she recovered fully. None of her co-workers reported similar problems. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that they're going to be wearing masks now going forward? I'm just asking because that definitely sounds like that would be the case in regards of the things that are going on. So what do you think here? No, seriously. It is a legit question in regards of what's going on. So there you go. There you go. Okay, should I get a little bit more serious now? In regards to some of the stuff that's going on, because, you know, we have done some silliness already starting off this morning, but should we get into the series, or should we kind of keep it going the way that we're going? Okay. I will get into some seriousness. Get the bullhorn. Okay. U.S. Secretary of Defense, or sorry, shouldn't it be U.S. Secretary of War? Isn't that what he claims it to be? Pete Hegseth claimed yesterday that Iran pleaded to the president at the 11th hour for the ceasefire, calling it a victory with a capital V. The statement came after Trump announced late Tuesday night that he would suspend bombing and attacks on Iran for 2 weeks. just hours before the self-imposed deadline for Tehran to reopen the strait. Trump posted on Truth Social that it was a big day for world peace following days of escalating tension and threats to wipe out Iran's entire civilization. At the Pentagon briefing, Hegg said that Iran's missile program was functionally destroyed. Its Navy sunk, and the U.S. now owns their skies. Owns their skies is what he said. So there you go. What do you think? I'm just asking, what do you think? So take a listen to this one, because this one
popped up.
In regard to what's going on. Rex Heuermann, I'm sure I butchered his name, the architect long suspected to be the Gilgo Beach serial killer, has now admitted to murdering 8 women, bringing a stunning end to the case that haunted Long Island for more than 30 years. In Suffolk County Court, the 62-year-old calmly pleaded guilty to 7 murders dating back to 1993 and acknowledged an 8th killing, and he had not yet been charged with. When asked how he killed each victim, he answered the same way every time: strangulation. The plea marks the first time that Rex has openly confessed, and the first time the victim's causes of death were confirmed. Under the agreement, he waives all rights to an appeal and will not face additional charges for these 8 murders. He faces up to 7 life sentences, and his sentencing will occur in June, on June 17th, if you wanted to be exact there. So what do you think about this? So life consecutive things or sentences, you're never getting out at that point. Let's just be realistic. Unless you know something that I don't, which, I mean, it's not a hard thing to do. I know that a lot more people know a lot more things than I will ever know. So there you go. Okay, NASA officials are sounding unusually blunt alarms about the most dangerous moment of the Artemis 2 mission. The crew finally returned to Earth. Administrator Jared Isaacman said that they are essentially no plan B. Orion's heat shield fails during re-entry. The spacecraft relies on a single thermal protection system to survive the extreme temperatures or plunging back into the atmosphere. Isaacman admitted that his nerves won't settle until the capsule safely under the parachute of the Pacific Ocean. The concern stems from the Artemis 1 in 2022, when the uncrewed Orion experienced an unexpected heat shield chart loss. Engineers adjusted the re-entry profile for the Artemis 2, but the issue underscores how unforgiving the phase is. When the Orion returns, it will hit the atmosphere at nearly 25,000 miles per hour, generating temperatures of around 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit and creating a plasma stress that cuts the communication for several minutes. After the blackout, a sequence of drogue pilots and main parachutes must deploy perfectly to slow the capsule to splashdown speed. The warning comes as the Artemis 2 crew, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Gotch, and Jeremy Hansen, begins the journey home after a dramatic 6-hour fly by the moon far side. The astronaut described the unexpected colors and geometric patterns across the lunar surface to have now traveled further from Earth than any humans in history, surpassing the Apollo 13 record. The astronauts return to Earth tomorrow night at 8:07 p.m. Eastern. So, I don't know if I should be an asshole and say this. Single point failure system. You just heard me say that. Single point failure system. It starts off at the very beginning and it says, Jared Isaacman said there is essentially no plan B. No plan B. Why would you do that? Why would you say that that's cool? No plan B. Kind of a weird one, huh? Okay, take a listen to this. Federal authorities have arrested Courtney Williams, a 40-year-old former member of the Army's elite Delta Force. Accusing her of leaking classified national defense information to people not authorized to receive it, including journalist Seth Harp Williams. Williams, going back to the other person, which is really Courtney, who worked at Fort Bragg from 2010 to 2016 as a signature reduction specialist handling covert identities and documentation was featured prominently in Harp's 2025 book, The Fort Bragg Cartel and Politico Profile, detailing her claims of gender discrimination and sexual harassment inside of the unit. According to the Justice Department, Williams was allegedly shared classified tactics, techniques, and procedures with Harp between 2022 and 2025. She saved files labeled Batch for Reporter containing personal documents classified as secret. She also made unauthorized disclosures on social media. Harp exchanged more than 10 hours of calls and 180 text messages with her and even mailed her the thumb drive. Court records showed that William knew the risk. In messages cited by a prosecutor, she wrote that she was concerned about how much classified material was being disclosed, even predicted that she might be arrested. She made her first court appearance yesterday in Raleigh, where the case was unsealed. She's being held by the U.S. Marshals pending a hearing next week. So what do you think about it? What do you think about it? I mean, it's kind of a weird one when it's all said and done. Like, how much information should you disclose when it's all said and done here? I mean, it is a weird time. I mean, we see so many movies kind of based around these things that when they actually happen, it's like, oh shit, what has happened there? So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this. President Trump criticized NATO yesterday as he describes the alliance a failure to support the U.S. and the ongoing conflict with Iran. His comments came even as NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte publicly praised Trump for securing a 2-week ceasefire. Trump had urged NATO members nations to deploy warships to help reopen the strait, criticized a critical waterway that carries roughly about 1/5 of the world's oil supply. No member nation sent ships hours after the White House press secretary said that NATO had been tested and failed. Trump posted on True Social, NATO wasn't there when we needed them, and they won't be there if we need them again. So there you go. There you go. A lot of stuff going on there. So take a listen to this one, because this one might be interesting to you. The United States is preparing for automatically register for all eligible men ages 18 to 25 for the military draft pool starting December. According to a new rule submitted by the Selective Service System, the agency says that the change shifts responsibility from individuals to government by pulling data directly from federal sources. The rule is still under regulatory review. The U.S. hasn't had an active draft since Vietnam War, but men in the age range have still been required to register. Failing to do so can bring penalties up to $250,000, 5 years in prison, and loss of federal benefits. Proposals to include women have been introduced over the years, but have never passed. The update comes as questions swirl about the U.S. military involvement in the Iran war. White House press secretary recently said that President Trump keeps all options on the table, though she emphasized that the draft is not part of the current plan. Trump has publicly downplayed the idea of deploying ground troops, even as the reports claim that he has privately shown interest. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about there for sure. So let me give you this one, because this one
is interesting.
Okay, a Hawaii jury has found the 47-year-old anesthesiologist Gerard Koenig guilty of attempted manslaughter for attacking his wife during a cliffside hike in March of 2025 in Hawaii. Let's see. Gerard broke down in court and the verdict was read, bowing his head. That's what it says. And holding his face in his hand. The conviction, a lesser charge based on an emotional disturbance, carries up to 20 years in prison. Prosecutors said that he had pushed his wife near the edge of the Palipuka Trail and struck her with a rock during an argument on her birthday. The two hikers heard Ariel's screams for help and called 911, which prosecutors say likely saved her life. Let's see. Koenig fled the scene later and called his son, allegedly admitting to the attack. Ariel testifies that she had been trying to repair their marriage after the husband discovered messages between her and a co-worker, which she describes as an emotional affair. She said that Koenig wrestled her to the ground and attacked her, leaving her with significant head injury. Koenig claimed that self-defense, saying that Ariel struck him first. His attorneys argued the case was said, he said, she said situation and disputed the severity of her injuries. They also challenged her claims that he attempted to use a syringe, noting that none was found at the scene. However, prosecutors presented photos of his medical bag containing a syringe and a form of protofol. The state argued that Koenig had a motive avoiding a divorce and potentially benefiting from a $250,000 life insurance policy. Ariel filed for divorce shortly after the attack and is seeking full custody of their children. Koenig has been in custody since his arrest 8 hours after the incident. His medical privileges were revoked, and he awaits sentencing for August the 13th. Holy shit, April the 9th to August the 13th before you get sentenced. So what do you think here? I mean, I don't understand these things, and I'm kind of a weird guy, I guess, when it comes to certain things. But holy crap, why would you risk going to jail when it's all said and done because you didn't want to file for a divorce? I mean, I don't know at what cost you look at that thing and go, oh yeah, potentially going to prison seems a little bit better than actually filing for a divorce. It's just weird. It's like really weird to me in regards to that. So what do you think here? I'm just asking the question because it gets weird to me altogether.
They say our music is finger licking good. Let's find out.
Oh, that's gross.
You know what? They were right.
Okay, so I don't know. A lot of stuff going on, like always, inside of the world of the multiverse as we are talking and doing all of the stuff inside of the world. Let's continue talking about some other things before we get into our story of the main of the story, because that's just kind of what we do around here. Let me get into some weird stuff real quick, because why would we not do that? I mean, come on, let's just be realistic. So there you go. Have you heard about some of the stuff that happens inside of the world? What's the weird? Take a listen to this. An Illinois woman just became an overnight millionaire thanks to the lottery numbers her mother told her to play years ago. The anonymous winner matched all 6 numbers, 2, 14, 16, 31, 40, 46. In March 21, Lotto Million 2 drawing, scoring $1 million jackpot plus the $5 extra for another line. The twist, though, the numbers were originally her mother's. Years ago, her mom picked the exact same combination based on family birthdays, anniversaries, but forgot to submit the ticket. When the numbers hit, she missed a $6.4 million. Her mother advised afterwards, play these numbers, one day they'll hit. And at the time they did, the winner said that she was in disbelief until the confirmation email arrived. Her husband and daughter were stunned too. She plans to use the money for an all-inclusive Bahamas trip, new car, and her daughter's college fund. After tax, her lump sum will be about $710,500. So what do you think there? Some stuff to think about, that is for sure. So let's talk about it because it's main story time. It is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and talk about it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So I want to talk about some weird stuff today, and I want you to bear with me because a lot of people might sit here today and go, what the fuck are you talking about? And that's okay because, well, I kind of feel like that's a lot of what our show consists of, but that's neither here nor there as we go through it. But I want to talk about a couple of the different things, so bear with me as I go down this rabbit hole because that's what it's going to be. I don't know where you eat most of the time, and that's okay. And it's probably none of my business in the first place. But you are aware that there is a super popular fast food chain by the name of McDonald's. Are you familiar with this? You should be familiar with it if you're not. But I want to talk about this because I think it's interesting. Have you ever realized that if you go to McDonald's, they do not sell onion rings? No, think about this for a moment. Have you ever been to McDonald's and gotten onion rings? And if you sit there for a moment, you'll probably say no. And I will tell you that at one point in life, McDonald's, and probably still is today, is very well known for their burgers and they're very well known for their fries. And believe me, I'm not saying you should go out there and eat that stuff. I'm just telling you they're very well known. They're number one and number two in regards to doing fries in that portion. Now, Burger King came out many, many, many years ago, and they started selling onion rings, and they were essentially competing with McDonald's in regards of being able to sell these things, and they sold onion rings, but still they were not great at selling burgers and fries, but they were really good at selling onion rings, which caused people to start going to Burger King just to get the onion rings and the rest of their food. Keeping in mind that McDonald's was still number one at selling fries and burgers, but that's okay. So McDonald's saw the challenge at their hand and said, hey, we're going to start selling onion rings. But they came to the realization real quick that it was not the easiest thing to do. So they started trying to cut the onions and because you have to lightly batter them and then deep fry them and all that. And it was not working for them the way that they wanted to. So what they decided to do was they decided to create something called an onion nugget. Yeah, you heard me correctly. An onion nugget. Now, I don't know if you've ever had an onion ring, but they're very thin and they're heavily breaded and deep fried. I won't go back into the history on how it came in regards of onion rings. We'll leave that for something else. So McDonald's decided to make this onion nugget, and a lot of customers complained about the taste of the thing because it's not this now great breaded product. It straight up tasted like biting into an onion straight with a little bit of deep fry to it. So needless to say, it did not go well for McDonald's in regards of making that. They said, our clients are not liking this. So they started focusing once again on what the hell they were going to do. So somebody had already come to the determination that they had already made all this stuff for this onion ring to work out, but it didn't, as you can tell. Duh. And so what they decided to do is, instead of making a nugget out of an onion ring, is they decided to put chicken into this nugget. And all of a sudden, the introduction of chicken nuggets at McDonald's occurs after this failure of the onion ring that they were trying to compete with Burger King with. Now, I want you to think about that real quick. And you probably go, okay, this might make a little bit more sense right now. So, company one, McDonald's, known for what they do good, burgers and fries, saw that there was a competitor out there making onion rings, and they said, we need to go after that portion of the market because, hey, we're not selling onion rings, and we need to make sure that we're able to do something to compete. And what they created was total chaos. Nobody liked the product for the most part because of the quality of the product. And then they reimagined what they should be doing and decided to make a chicken nugget instead. And look at the world that we're in today when it comes to chicken nuggets in McDonald's. Now, the reason I bring this up today, it's not to talk about fast food because I enjoy it, because that's not really the case. Neither of those two places do I ever really go to for food or even drinks, maybe just to go to the bathroom, but that's a whole other story. But I wanted to bring this up for the following thing. Not everything you plan will be successful. Not everything that you want to compete with another organization or someone else will be successful. But sometimes some of the ideas that come out of those sequences can change everything for you. Who would have ever thought back in the day of an onion nugget would essentially go into a chicken nugget? So what I would like to describe today or discuss today is be open-minded enough that sometimes you have to pivot what your original idea was to something that will actually work. And I look at this from the standpoint that in reality, when it comes to some of the stuff that we have to do at work, it is not the easiest. But sometimes we have to be thinking and changing things immediately in real time for things to work. And listen, I know that onion rings or onion nuggets might not be the greatest thing on the planet, but shit, do people really love some chicken nuggets?
Oops, what did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from Jay Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety Transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
It's this show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Don't let go of my hands when we kiss. When the lights go.
Don't let go of my hands when we kiss. Okay. So there you go. Currently 45 minutes past the top of the hour. And we are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show, doing all kinds of fun stuff. No, seriously. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff. That's not a joke as I say that. It's not one of those weird things. Okay, so let's talk about this. This right here is called All Your Pain. It's by an artist called Night. And it is readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. So there you go. We would like to thank Knight for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Always a good time when we get to do our thingo. No doubt about that. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. That is the way that I look at this. Okay, let's get moving and grooving because you know how it is. I will get lost inside of a wilderness of pain if I don't do that in regards of moving forward. So let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of the world. And if anything, this will probably be the most important thing I will ever tell you in my lifetime. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, go to TWLOHA.com. That's To Write Love on Her Arms. Go all the way to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. So I'm going to tell you, once you get there, there's all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. Going to tell you, you can go to that website. It can change everything for you because of all of the great information that is there. I will tell you, I found this organization early, I want to say, 2000-ish, 2007, 2008, 2009. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, right around there. I want to say something along those lines. And I have been following that organization ever since then, watching them try to help make this world a little bit better. So that's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is what we do. We have an event coming up, July the 13th. And you're probably still going around thinking, why in the hell are we talking about this now? Well, tomorrow night, Eastern time at 11:59, the ticket prices will officially go up after the foundation ticket round is over with. So those will go bye-bye. And what will be readily available is this, are the standard tickets. So right now, if you want the foundation pricing that we have listed, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io. Or scan the QR code that's on the screen. What we'll have going on there is that Nick Weatherly will be there talking about behavior-based safety. Todd Conklin will be there discussing human and organizational performance. And I will be there talking about Signal Trilogy. We'll also run some level of a movie. So us to have a discussion about, I guess, in regards to it. So we'll be doing this event at a movie theater, slightly different than any other thing that we've done before. That is for sure. So all you have to do to find out more information, safetyfm.io, or you can go to Safety FM and click under live events and see all of the information that is readily there. So that's it. Would love to see you there. That's happening on July the 13th in Orlando. Yeah, Orlando. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. I'm going to tell you, it's definitely going to be an experience based on how we're taking a look at this. So there you go. Anyways, with that being said, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, but you know what we have? We know who we have inside of the wing, waiting to have the discussion, waiting to talk about stuff. Duh. Yeah, I got some John Small waiting, where he wants to talk about what the hell is going on inside of the world. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this. So let's get that rolling right now. Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Susan. Satya Nadella said, "Our industry does not respect tradition. It only respects innovation." Wow. I had to check into this to see what industry they're even talking about. This was an email sent to all employees on Satya Nadella's first day as CEO of Microsoft in 2014. The computer and the tech industry really does lean into innovation. When AI was unleashed on the world a few years ago, it made a major ripple in things at these companies. We happened to be visiting some friends about a month after ChatGPT was introduced, and our friend that we were visiting is a programmer at Microsoft. His department was working extra hours to make themselves less expendable to the company, and it worked. When they laid off thousands of programmers, our friend and his whole team were spared. What do you do to give yourself a better chance? The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Iran rejected President Trump's proposed 45-day ceasefire amid day 38 of escalating Middle East conflict tensions.
Trump held a press conference urging a deal before his 8 p.m. Eastern deadline Tuesday. Iran fired missiles at Israel, prompting IDF responses to cluster munitions in central areas. Oil prices continue surging as the Strait of Hormuz impasse disrupts global supply chains. Chris Anderson reporting.
Oil prices climbed sharply Tuesday while U.S. stocks dipped ahead of President Trump's Iran deadline.
Crude futures hit $114 a barrel as traders fear prolonged strait closure. The Dow fell amid jitters over energy costs rippling to consumers. Experts warn gas prices could near records if tensions hold. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Vietnam's Communist Party chief Tu Lam took oath as the nation's new president during a ceremony in Hanoi Tuesday.
The leadership transition fills a key role amid Vietnam's push for economic growth and stronger ties with major powers. Lam, previously head of the party, now oversees state affairs officially. Parliament approved his nomination in a unanimous vote. Gary Beck reporting.
U.S. forces struck Iran's key oil hub on Kharg Island as President Trump warns of dire consequences by Tuesday evening.
The precision hits target military sites amid stalled talks over the Strait of Hormuz. Trump posted that a whole civilization faces ruin without a deal by 8 p.m. Eastern. Markets watch closely with oil above $110 per barrel. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Vice President J.D. Vance visited Hungary to confer with Prime Minister Viktor Orban.
The trip comes ahead of Orban's re-election push in Budapest. Vance expressed optimism on Iran responding to U.S. deadlines. Discussions covered alliance strategies and regional stability. Kevin Sanders reporting.
One gunman lies dead and 2 others injured after a shooting erupted outside the Israeli consulate in Istanbul Tuesday.
Istanbul's governor confirmed authorities neutralized the attackers swiftly. No consulate staff or visitors reported harmed in the incident. Police investigate motives as Turkey bolsters security around diplomatic sites. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Bill Gates prepares to testify before the House Oversight Committee probing Jeffrey Epstein ties.
A source confirms his appearance as part of the ongoing investigation Tuesday. The panel seeks details on connections amid broader scrutiny. Gates' involvement highlights persistent questions around the late financier. Liam White reporting.
U.S. journalist Shelley Kittleson gains release from captivity in Iraq on orders to leave immediately.
An Iranian-backed militia announced the condition Tuesday after her kidnapping. Kittleson, known for Mideast reporting, faced dangers in the volatile region. Her freedom marks relief for colleagues and family. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, let's continue talking real quick about some things that happened back in this date, back in 1967. Yeah, let's start off with that one. The first Boeing 737 rolls out. Also in 1947, Atomic Energy Commission is formed. So there you go. What else do we got? In 1970, Paul McCartney announces official split of the Beatles. In 1988, the U.S. imposes economic sanctions on Panama. And in 2005, Prince Charles marries Camilla Parker Bowles. So there you go. Also, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Dennis Quaid turns 72, Cynthia Nixon 60, Gerard Way 49, Keisha Knight Pulliam turns 47, and J.C. McCartney turns 39. Kristen Stewart turns 36, and Elle Fanning turns 28 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays for you, if you do not mind, of course. What else do we got for you? Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because that always seems to be some interesting stuff. American drivers are out hunting for cheaper gas after President announced a 2-week ceasefire between the U.S., Israel, and Iran, a pause that depends on reopening the strait, the key choke point for global oil shipments. But despite the announcement, analysts say it's uncertain whether the prices at the pump will fall anytime soon. The market is still reacting to months of instability, and experts warn that even with a ceasefire, relief could take time to reach consumers. So there you go. Also, Florida prosecutors have formally signaled that they're coming after Tiger Woods' prescription drug record as part of the impaired driving case stemming from the March 27th crash on Jupiter Island. In an April 7th state court filing, they notified Woods' legal team that they intend to subpoena any and all prescription medications on file for him, including the type of medication, pill counts, dosage, amount, refills, refill date, and all usage instructions, specifically any warnings about driving while taking them. So there you go. Also, President Trump announced yesterday morning that any country supplying weapons to Iran will get a 50% tariff on all goods sold to the United States. Also, the United States just logged the hottest March on record, according to NOAA data, and it wasn't even close. The average temperature across continental U.S. hit 50.85 Fahrenheit, which is about 9.35 Fahrenheit warmer than 20th century norm. NOAA says that this is the first time in history that any month has come in more than 9 degrees above the long-term baseline. 10 states also recorded their hottest March in 131 years. Also, in some other news, here is last night's winning Powerball numbers: 3, 16, 17, 42, 52. Powerball was 3, Power Play was 2. Also, in some other news, Southwest Airlines is putting a new limit on portable chargers to reduce the risk of lithium battery fires on site. Starting April the 20th, passengers will only be allowed to bring one portable charger, and it cannot be checked in luggage or in the overhead bin. Southwest already requires passengers to keep the chargers out in the open while in use, so the flight attendants can react quickly if the batteries overheat. The new rule is part of a broader push across the airline industry and to prevent flight fires linked to lithium-ion devices. So there you go. Anyways, this is going to end our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If not, you can stay here and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus here on Safety FM. So the choice is yours, of course, because that's what it always is. So with that being said, let me leave you with some words of wisdom for today, if I can. To uncover the true potential, you must first find your own limits, and then you have to have the courage to blow past them. And if I can give you some words of advice, if you walk into a room and forget why you're there, walk back to the door and look through it. The brain resets to the original context. So there you go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed our time together. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.